Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you. Who'd have thunk that summer went by so quickly? But here we are in September, and I am very grateful that everybody can join me today. I'll wait a couple of seconds so that we can get some of the other folks that are logging in here. But currently, right now, oh, looks like what do we got? Well, we got some folks logging in here now. But thank you, one and all, for attending this today. I will get things going here. If you ever hear a pause, and the rare occasion when I'm not speaking, it's probably because I'm taking a sip of coffee to keep my voice going. So I will do such right now. All right. Well, I do value everybody's time, so I will get things going. And as people file in, they can get things going. I won't be taking any questions today uh, during the broadcast, but I certainly am most happy to answer them either by email or phone if you have questions for me. First and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Duncan Smith. I'm the Director of National Sales and Business Development here at IAMS Wealth Management. My direct phone number and email are listed below on this screen. I encourage you to write them down and to reach out to me with any questions you may have, or if you want to discuss the specific details of what's going on in your practice. A little bit about me, if you haven't met me yet. So I've been doing this a little bit over 2 decades, over 20 years. Amazing to say, but I first started out in the business as a financial advisor for Charles Schwab, was director of financial education for MetLife, and actually it was here in Chicago because I do work remotely, a group called the Premier Wealth Group, and then got recruited from there. I was a vice president of Advisor Direct Program for Fisher Investments. All of you are probably very familiar with Ken Fisher and his ads and his love of annuities. And then went from there to national vice president of Zacks Investment Management, dealing nationally with that with North America. And then obviously here as the director of national sales, and couldn't be happier. We are growing leaps and bounds here at IAMS Wealth Management, and very excited about it. So let's get things rolling and jump right into it. Our compliance officer would be very mad at me if I did not show you this. So here's our disclosure. I don't have a reason to think why you would want to show this to the general public, but if you can't, and we'll hunt you down if you do. So there you go. You've been disclosed. If you're attending this, I'm assuming that you fall into one of 4 groups, and those groups are typically an insurance agent with no securities license, and you're tired of referring securities business away to the local competition. You're looking to add probably another 50 to 70K on average to your income annually, and you're ready to increase your percentage of household assets by typically about 45%. Or you're an insurance agent and you got your 6 and 63, or perhaps your 7, and you're registered with a broker dealer, and you're splitting up to 50% sometimes of your pay with a broker for all the work that you're doing. You've got a limited selection of investment choices, and you're maintaining all of your own compliance records for FINRA. And by the way, in that little picture, the hostage is you, not your client. So don't think that I'm putting you down. Or you're an investment advisor, you got your 65 or 7 and 66, and you're with another RIA. And so you're paying every time you use any of their services. You're using lots of your valuable time that can be spent in meetings and prospecting for new clients or discovering new assets by doing proposals and paperwork and all of the drudgery work that goes along in the background with the back office stuff. And typically you're not receiving proactive sales support or operational support. It feels at times probably you got to shoot a flare off to get some help. So And the last category is that you're a spy from my competition. And if you are, I encourage you to pay attention. You might learn something. So let's dive right into it. And this whole webinar is broken down, and I'll go fairly quickly here, but it's broken down into a couple of parts. First is, a corporate overview, who we are, what we do, how we do it, how we came to be, all of that. Second is to go into, what you need to join us, the qualifications that you need to do that. Third is getting into some of the technologies that we utilize at our firm for our advisors and how those make your job easier on a daily basis. And then also moving from there into the services that we do on your behalf and that you have access to. And then lastly, maybe go into our money managers and our custodians and talk about the actual pieces, put the whole thing together. And then lastly, maybe a couple of examples of some things that we do that maybe aren't happening yet, or you haven't thought of that are happening out there that I think are of interest that might be something that could help you. So who we are. So we came about in 2016 when we first formed. The whole reason that we came together is that's when they first started messing around with all the fiduciary laws, and we knew that we needed a way for our agents to manage money in a compliant way. So we set up as a registered investment advisor. We're regulated by the SEC. The fancy term for what we do is we're a direct institutional fiduciary. And that means that we're legally bound to put our client's interest ahead of our own, and that's in writing. And that's why when we speak to clients, we hand them a written investment proposal showing them what we're doing, why we're doing it, and the reasons behind it. And then we have to avoid conflicts of interest or even potential or perceived conflicts of interest and disclose any and all of those to our clients. We have about 70 plus advisors across North America. Most of the states are represented. I will say that there is one state that's not represented, and if you are the first one to plant your flag there, I would be more than happy. I think though that you will probably have to see me on a monthly basis in person, and that would be Hawaii. So make your plans to open up our first branch in Hawaii, and we could get going there. Our assets under management right now, about 170 million plus. This number is probably a little bit old, especially with a run up in the markets and a bunch of new business that has been brought on. This number is much higher, but that gives you kind of a watermark of where we're at. It's very important to discern what we are and what we're not. So there are two sides to the financial field in the US, and one is the broker-dealer side, and the other is a registered investment advisor, which is what our firm is. Now, besides just the differences of what licenses that you need to register with those, typically with a broker-dealer, you got your 6 and 63. If you're with a registered investment advisor, you got your 65 or your 7 and 66. A broker dealer sells products. That is the easiest way I know to put it. They're executing market orders or selling either mutual funds or variable annuities for commission. Whereas a registered investment advisor is providing ongoing advice to their clients, making the best informed decisions that they can on their behalf to help them achieve their goals. The broker-dealer side is, for the most part, held to the suitability standard, which basically means that you're going to ensure that your recommendations are suitable for a client. You don't have to disclose any conflicts of interest if those recommendations involve things that maybe perhaps you make a little extra money on, or you have an aligned interest to get into that product. Whereas on the opposite side of that is the fiduciary standard, and we are true 100% fiduciary. You're always having to put the client's interest in let me try that again. You always have to put the client's interest in front of the firms, and you can't subordinate any of their needs or goals to the firms as well. And compensation wise, traditionally with a broker dealer, you're going to get commission. So whether it's getting an upfront commission and then a trail that's paid out, typically that commission is run through a payout grid. So depending on the amount of production that you're doing with that firm, can increase the amount of money that you make and reduce the amount of money that they take from you. Whereas on the fiduciary side, we are charging a flat fee for advice, similar to if you did a financial plan and you're charging X amount per hour or X amount per plan, or you're charging a percentage of assets under management. And there is no grid, no fee on our side. So you're keeping 100% of what you're charging them. And then as far as regulatory, the broker dealers are regulated by FINRA, which they're a member of, so they're self-regulating through FINRA, and we are overseen by the SEC, a third party that oversees our firm, and then we then oversee our advisors. So the big difference in regulatory and compliance is that on the broker-dealer side, typically it's the financial advisor that's mainly responsible for keeping all the records, making sure that everything is compliant, whereas with a registered investment advisor like we are the ones that are under the oversight, and we're making sure that all of that is done on your behalf, and then obviously making sure that we're helping you out with anything that needs to be made compliant. And again, just the basics of who we are. We built ourselves out very purposely. So the process is meant to work very well with insurance agents as well as just individual investment advisor representatives. So we were created. It's kind of cliche, but by insurance agents for insurance agents. And what that means is that we looked at the entire process and looked at the pain points and time wasting activities that goes on and tried to eliminate a lot of that. So, and we're meant to specifically to complement what you're doing already. We're not looking for people to restructure their entire business and how they go about things. We're looking for this just to be another chapter in the book and another piece so that you can holistically help out your clients on all ends of their financial needs. And I don't particularly like the term time wasting, because certainly paperwork will get you paid eventually, but it's certainly time consuming. We try to minimize that as best we can so that our advisors aren't experts at filling out paperwork. They are better at having relationships with clients and gathering new assets. And all of this is scalable. So whether you're an office of one or you have multiple branches, it scales across all of that. And we are the same way. We're built to scale up. So as we increase the flow of things, whether it's new advisors or opening of accounts and everything, we're constantly on the lookout to see which departments may need additional resources and stay ahead of that curve. But it's a scalable plan that works for you and obviously for us. And then, lastly, this generates recurring monthly income, as opposed to, looking at all the bills you have at the beginning of the month like we are now and saying how many policies of X or Y do I need to sell to achieve that number. We are looking to create recurring monthly income. So all of our clients get billed on a monthly basis. So, and if you're in this business, you really have to have a plan that has two types of income. One is instant, like selling say a life policy or a fixed annuity or something of that nature. And then the second is recurring, so that you can level out the pay, that's the income that's coming in, so that you have a more predictable financial balance sheet and you can really budget things for what's going on. Qualifications to work with us are very simple. So to work with us and to register with our firm, you either have to have your Series 65, you got to have your 7 and 66, or one of these three designations, a CFP, CHFC, or a CFA. If you have any of those designations, then the states will give you a waiver to taking all the exams, and we've done that in the past where we help people get the waiver and they come on board with us. But keep in mind, if you don't have any of these and you're really serious about doing this, I've designed a program that helps you get prepared and to pass the Series 65, and also once you pass it, to hit the ground running. Really try to get things done ahead of time so that once you hit the ground, getting going day, the first month, you've gotten a lot of training under your belt, you've got things going, and everything's been registered so that you can really kind of delve into, if this is a new area for you, we can help you in all areas. And that's just not talking about the technology and software and how to run that, but that's also about, working as a financial advisor and the best practices and processes to put into place. The first most asked question that I always get is, if I join your firm, how much does it cost me? There is flat out what it costs us. It's $3,500 annual or $300 a month. And then the follow-up question that typically goes with this is, all right, so if I'm paying you that, what do I get? And my snarky answer is that you get everything. So this is all inclusive, comprehensive, hence the word. And there is no a la carte. This isn't like buying cable and you decide that you want HBO and there's a separate charge for getting HBO per month. Anything that you see on this list is all included with it, and there's no extra charge for it. So we're going to do all the training in person. We're a big believer in in-person training and remote, whether it's webinars, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's telephone calls, in person, however it is. But we're going to train you, and we will often overtrain you and err on the side of doing that as opposed to not touching base enough. We want to make sure that if you're brand new to this, that you're comfortable with what you're doing, and certainly can go on if it's online initial meetings or in-person meetings if you need that. Also, if you're new to our firm, we want to make sure that we're you're up to speed with the technology of what we use, but also any of the resources that are available to you through that as well. Any software that you need to run your business, that's included as well. We'll get into some of this in a few seconds here. Investment proposal software. So anything you need to do a portfolio analysis, or if somebody is looking to have a financial plan put together, or they're looking to say, I have this one account IRA that's held at another firm. I'd like to see what you guys would do. Could you do a compare and contrast and show me how you would propose it? All that's included. Reporting software, not just for your clients, so that you can do here's what your account or household or accounts are doing year to date, but also internally for your own business, where you can look at not just your fees and everything, but you also can slice and dice things for your own business. Electronic signature software, Docusign. That's included as well. We use Docusign when possible. Obviously, we can use hard copies of things as well, but if electronic signature software can be used, it's preferable. Eno Insurance. I know this is a big deal for some people. It's probably the time of year where most of it's renewing for you. We offer Eno Insurance as far as coming on board with us. It is $1 million per incident and $2 million comprehensive. It also covers your life and health business as well. The two things that I know for sure it doesn't cover, because these are questions that I've been asked, it will not cover your P&C business if you have that, and it will not cover if you're a notary public. I'm sure there's many others, but I haven't been asked that question yet. So E&O insurance included. Any logos that you need redone or done from the start, or brand creation, creating your own brand, all of that is done with our marketing and creative teams and our graphic designers and IT people and all of that. They help out with doing that, building a brand new website for you or remodeling an old one. All of that is done. So all of the work that's done on that is included. Any proposals that you need, whether it's a financial plan or an investment proposal or an analysis of a specific thing, that is all completed on your behalf. So we do that for you. You don't have to worry about breaking down somebody's statement. All the operational paperwork, opening new accounts, transferring accounts, monitoring the transfer of those accounts, making sure funding is happening, any administrative, such as adding beneficiaries, doing a disbursement or required minimum distribution. All that's done on your behalf by us. We do all of that for you. You certainly know how to do that stuff, but your time is better spent elsewhere. And then account billing and maintenance, we're doing all of that as well. So, and not on here, but it'll be shown later on, is compliance. We're doing all of the compliance oversight. So, that's really, when you look at what it costs, and what you get, and as I mentioned too, that's all inclusive. There's no extra charges for any of that stuff, and we'll go through some of that here, but let's just kind of dive into some of the technologies, not all the software that you get supplied by us, but some of it. So the main operating system that we use is Fusion Elements. It's great. It's an industry leader in our business for the financial industry, and one of the better parts of it is that it's streamlined business processing. So it's got a single login, right? So it's just like Windows for your PC, or I'm not an Apple user of a laptop or anything, but whatever their main software is that you log in. So you log into this, and then everything else is reached through there. And that's great. So as long as you have internet going into your house or your office, you can plug it into a computer and you're online and going. You don't need to have a physical office to work with us. We have, especially after the pandemic, we have lots and lots and lots. I would probably say about 80 of our advisors right now have a home office that they work from. And anytime that they're meeting clients, they're doing one of two things. One is they're doing one of three things. One is they're doing it online. Two is they're going to their home and doing it. Or three, some of our advisors actually have like a Regency office, so if they have a meeting, they have the ability to rent an office real quick and go in and do it through Regency. It's 100% transparency, and so one of the great things, it creates a traceable compliant record. So the days of having a compliance officer show up at your office and going through and making sure that your file cabinets are locked or anything like that are done. Everything is stored online in the cloud. We use Ignite to do that. And it's a great way for us to streamline that whole process and make sure that we're taking care of all of the compliance stuff that you need to have us do, whether it's approving it, recording it, storing it, all of that. And then, the other great part about this too, and I had to update the number because I had 1,200 applications that it connects with. There's that sip of coffee I told you about. It connects with over 3,000 different applications. So besides just the software that we supply you with and that integrating with it, if you have other software, chances are that it'll integrate with Fusion so that you don't have to log out of one window, log into another. You can just get it all from one thing right there when you're as it integrates together. So very comprehensive, excellent tool, and absolutely fabulous. And so the CRM, Redtail CRM, is what we have available as a CRM, what we use. And Redtail, again, industry leader, right? And it's web-based, and one of the great things about it is that it can be as simple as a Rolodex where you just keep names, phone numbers, emails, everything like that. But you also can automate your own workflow process so that you can customize, all the different things that you want to use, whether it is automating things such as client communications, that on X amount date, I want birthday cards sent out on, on the day of somebody's birthday, I want a birthday card sent out at 8 a.m. and then have our creative department create your own birthday card for your clients, and it's almost like a template, insert name here, and that gets sent out. Or you're looking to send out a newsletter, a brochure, or you're looking to just do your process overall where you're saying, I'm going to start with people, and that here's the progression. They're going to start out as prospects, they're going to go to warms, they're going to go from warms to hots, from hots to clients, and then and if they don't do that, they're going into colds, and I want to hold those over there, and they have to pass these different things as you go through it. So again, it can be as simple or as complicated as you want, but it's very great software that has a lot of technology built into it. And again, we want you to understand exactly what it can and can't do, but use it as best you see fit. Moving on in technology, let's talk about the investment proposal software. You may or may not know about Riskalyze. Riskalyze, again, industry leader in putting together proposals. One of the reasons that I particularly like this, and we like it as a firm, is that it's an objective, quantitative measurement of an investor's true risk and the influencing factors for how they're going to invest, right? So instead of some of those really silly risk assessment or risk questionnaires that you see out there that are 5, 6, questions, and they're like, how would you feel if the market went down? Oh, I would feel bad. Oh, then you're conservative. This goes beyond that. It takes into factors like how much money are you looking to get invested? How much of that money, what is that money? What percentage of that is that of your overall net worth? Are there going to be distributions? Do distributions happen every year, every month? Do they just happen during a specific time? What's the tax status? What's the end purpose of these assets? Is it for you to spend down to the last dime? Or is it for your grandkids, or whatever the case may be? But it takes all those into account when it's putting together an asset allocation and risk tolerance for them. And then the other part is it takes all that and then communicates it in a very effective way through graphs and charts, as well as language that it puts down, and it gets it in a very clear way that not only the advisor can understand, but also the client can understand, because you can get into some pretty complex strategies, and this is a great way to illustrate this and compare and contrast with what they're doing now compared to what they're looking to do. But most importantly, it's purposely constructed to identify areas of concern. So, it's not saying that this is bad, what you're doing right now. It says here are some areas of concern, and then recommending immediate steps to correct them. So it leads to an action of how you can correct these areas of concern, which is exactly what you want to do. You want to talk to somebody and you say, these are areas of concern, and here's how you can correct it, so that they can decide whether or not they're willing to take action. Moving on from the proposal software, complete reporting software. Again, I mentioned before, you can do this for anything. You can slice and dice your clients' accounts, the household, the different types of stocks they have, the sectors that they're in, year-over-year performance. You could do any of this to break into that, but you also can take a look at your own business and say, all right, so I'm going to review, if I have 2 branches of my firm, I want to see how North is doing compared to South. Or you're a one-man shop and you want to say, I want to see how I'm doing at this point this year compared to last year. And so there's a number of things that you can analyze. And one of the better parts is, like most of the software that we use and the outputs that come from it, it can be branded per your request. So it can have your firm's logo, your firm's address and phone number, so that everything that your client is getting is back to you. It doesn't have to say IAMS Wealth Management on it, because you're their point of contact. You're the person that has a relationship with them, and you want them to think of you every time that they are considering something that deals with their financial matters. Docusign, there's really only a couple of points that I'll make on this. And there's 2 things that we use Docusign for. Well, there's probably more, but anyway. One is that it saves time. So we have found, and it reduces errors, because the nice part about Docusign is that it won't let you submit a form unless all the requested fields that need to be populated are populated. So those days, and I've had them where you're either driving home from a client's house and you get halfway home and past the point of return, you figure out that you missed a signature somewhere or a date or whatever it is. You can't do that with Docusign. So that is great. So a lot reducing the errors that can happen. But more importantly, and probably to you if you're here, is the fact that it cuts down the time. So from the time that someone says, yes, I would like you to manage my accounts, to the time that they are actually funded and you're getting paid on them, it takes about a week off of that time. And so that's a considerable. I mean, not just the transportation, but the reduction of errors and everything. Now, don't think that everything has to be done through Docusign, because more than aware that there are some folks that want to hold documents in their hands. They want to see it, hold it, sign it with an ink. They want to put a wet signature down there. If that's the case, we're more than happy to do that, and we have done that numerous times and still do and still will, where we print it out, put sign and date Post-its on it, put it in an overnight envelope, whether it's FedEx or UPS, and get it out to you or the client or wherever it needs to go. So that is, it doesn't mean that everything has to be electronic, but if it's something where the client has the ability to do it that way, and it's something that will work that way, we're going to prefer to do it that. And as I mentioned, it's going to save time and errors. Getting into technology and really leaning over towards our creative and marketing department. So unique to our firm, and I have yet to see another firm that does it this way out there, another RIA. I've seen them do it in ways similar to ours, but not like us, is that we have our own internal creative and marketing department, and they will build you a brand new website if you don't have one. They will help you remodel an existing website if you don't have one, or I mean, if you have one, you just want us to take a look at it. And it doesn't cost you a penny to have this done. And you know that if you went out on your own and tried to do this, that having someone put together a website for you, it can be fairly expensive, and maintain it and keep it compliant, do all of that. We do all of that for you, and you customize it with your own logo and your own info and the areas that you're doing business in. If you're also doing insurance, where you're doing life insurance and P&C, we encourage our advisors to put that on their website as well. We feel that as long as you can drive all of your clients right to your website, you're going to have more traction, and you're going to have a larger percentage of their household with them. So we try to make sure that that all of our advisors understand the importance of having a website, and B, driving all of your clients to there. Because it unifies your overall brand and builds credibility with them. And believe it or not, it leads to a ton of referrals. So, and then lastly, there's a client login that's on here, and you need to, typically, most people are like, well, I'll just go to the custodian and log in and do it that way. Well, if your client logs in on your website, they can see the same exact live information that they can see at the custodian. And I'm not saying the custodians out there, if you logged in there, that they would try to lead you astray or try to get you to leave the advisor and come directly with them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're driving clients to your website and they're going on to there, that they're seeing all of your stuff, as opposed to maybe some other pop-ups that are coming for other opportunities that are outside your control. And it also gives you the ability, one of the cool things is gives you the ability for them to add additional information, such as, I have a 401k that's at XYZ company. Here's what it is. Here's what's it invested in. I have 2 credit cards, and here's what I owe on it. I mean, just to think of the variables, but they're out there. And so that you can put all of their information, financial information, into one place. And it will give you greater knowledge into the events that are going on with them and areas that you can help them with. And then obviously, as I mentioned before, you can showcase the full line of all the services that you offer, whether it is, insurance, who knows, maybe it's real estate, some other thing, I don't know, whatever the other business that you have going, but you can showcase a full line of all the services that you do, and have it all in one place for your clients to go to. The website that you're viewing right now is for Christopher Banks, Chris Banks. So he joined us at the end of last year. And so specifically, if you look at this, our creative department did his logo. So they created a new logo for him to have on there. So they did the Legacy Wealth Management. They also are putting things, and you can have other, links that are on here, but there is a portfolio risk analysis that people can click on. And what it does is that they then can answer a few questions. They can attach statements if they want to. They can answer a risk tolerance questionnaire. But the cool part, and here's kind of a story that goes along with it, he's done a couple of webinars in the past, and on his webinar certainly has his website plastered all over that when he does it. And lo and behold, a couple of weeks after he held his webinar, someone went to his website, clicked on the risk analysis, filled in all their information, attached all their statements to it, and clicked submit. So at the home office, because that directly goes to our home office, we got all of that information. Gave Chris a call up, said, hey, Chris, here's the good news. That webinar that you gave, John Q Public went in, filled out all his information, answered risk assessment for us, and attached statements. So we'll go ahead, we'll put together the investment proposal. You don't have to worry about going out and doing an information gathering meeting with him, and we'll get it over to you within a day's time, and you can go ahead and call him up, thank him for doing that, and set the second meeting. So I'm not saying that happens all the time. I'm just saying that that's again an advantage of driving all your clients to your website or pushing anybody that you're talking to your website, because the ability to do this directly helps a tremendous amount. And the login right there is what I just mentioned, where your clients can go to your website, log in, see not just their accounts that you have under management for them and what's going on with those accounts, but also have all the other accounts that they have as well. So very important. And then just because we're the wealth management division of IAMS doesn't mean that everything, as I mentioned before, we want you to have the full line of what you do up here. So certainly, with financial planning, you can put up there, retirement planning, asset management, annuity reviews. Are you looking to, set an appointment so we can go through some of your annuities and review them and see what's going on? If you have tax planning, that you want to learn more about that. Or because Chris isn't a tax planner, but he certainly has people that he would refer people to. But those are up there, and estate and legacy planning as well. But also, all of the lines of insurance that he carries are there as well. Let me go back to that. So, whether it's life insurance, all these tabs are clickable and interactive. So, I want to learn about life insurance, different types, term, whole life. Want to get a quote for my wife and myself. Health insurance, disability, long-term care, critical illness, you guys can read, but P&C, everything is up there. So when people go to his website, they know the full breadth of how he can help them and ask for assistance while they're there and everything. So just building on that, so our creative and marketing team do all of that internally. As I mentioned, they're internal, and it doesn't cost you a dime to use them. You can use them once or you can use them 1,000,000 times. It doesn't matter what you do. With most other RIAs or any broker dealer services that you're going to deal with, they do one of two things. One is they have an internal team, but they have a price list or a price menu that you can look at, and X amount, if you want to do this, here's what it costs per hour to do that, or per project. Or they farm it out to a third party that they've had an agreement with, and that third party tells you that you're getting a discount, but really what they're doing is they're marking it up. Their normal price is 30%, and then they're telling you that they're giving you a 30% discount. And so I have not yet seen an RIA that has an internal creative and marketing team with graphic designers, IT people, the whole gamut, that does that and doesn't charge. So it's pretty powerful. And so besides just doing a logo for you or creating a brand and making sure that that brand's throughout everything that you're doing, they can do as simple as business cards or mailers or PowerPoints for seminars and webinars that you're doing. If you're in any of the states that are starting to get tighter restrictions with the COVID and everything like that, people are getting wary of going out, any webinars that you're looking to hold, the cool part is you get an outline over to the creative team and the marketing team, say, I want to talk about disability insurance, and here are the points that I want to make, blah, blah, blah. They have all the stock photos, they have all the fonts, they have everything. You don't have to be a PowerPoint expert. They can put that together for you. And even, if you're back to seminars in person right now or doing that continually, they can help you out with that. Any newsletters or brochures that you're looking to put out on a monthly, weekly basis, they can design all of that. The content, obviously, they can help somewhat with some of that, but for the most part, I would say our advisors come up with their own content, especially because they want it specific to who they are and what they're doing. And then if you're into social media marketing and you're saying, you know what, I want to start to do marketing on LinkedIn. I want to market to all the people that are in these 17 zip codes that are between the ages of 52 and 68, and they have this title or similar title to, what their job or what they do is. They can help you put together a turnkey marketing campaign that's ready to go. Now, obviously, we don't pay for the ad space on LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever you're looking to do it, but you are when you contact them, you are ready to go. You have a campaign that's ready to go right out of the box. So again, pretty powerful. And if you went out and tried to do that on your own, that would be very expensive. And then just kind of getting into the overall, this is the boring day-to-day stuff, right? So you sit down with a client, they hand you a statement and they fill out a questionnaire, a confidential questionnaire that tells you about their financial landscape and their contact information, and then a risk assessment that gives you an overall view of, their view of risk. All that fully completed client proposal is coming back to you. Now, obviously, everybody presents in a different way. So we always want to make sure that all of our advisors are aware of all the different components that are available to you. When you're using this so that they can put it together in the fashion that they like to present, but you're getting a fully completed client proposal typically turned around to you in I would say about 24 hours. It doesn't take us much longer to do it than that. And not that that's some remarkable feat, but I know that in the past I've when I was an advisor and you hand it in to some of the bigger firms or maybe some of the smaller firms that were out there, it took maybe a week and a half to get that turnaround. You're not going to be waiting. They used to say, and we don't say it anymore, and it's not because it's not true, I just think it's hilarious, is that if you got it to us by 11 a.m. Central Time, we'll get it back to you the same day. That still holds true, but I have yet in my 25 years had someone have a meeting with me at 9 o'clock in the morning. When you get done with the meeting, they go, all right, so this is great. I'll be back at 1 so we can go through it. Typically, I try to stretch the first and second meeting out about a week or so, unless there were, sometimes constraints with them leaving and you had to do it earlier, but it's about a day turnaround. Also, when you get your client proposal, they have completed a questionnaire and done a risk assessment. So almost all of the information that we need to complete paperwork for them to open accounts, transfer assets, do all that will be pre-populated and either in hard copy or in Docusign and sent to you as well. So that when you're done with your proposal meeting and they say, this is great, let's get going, you have the ability to pull out your tablet, whether it's an iPad or any other brand that you have, with a pencil on it and say, great, well, here's the paperwork right here. Let's get started. Sign here, 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 date here, here. Oh, you know what? We need the Social Security number for your daughter as a beneficiary. So let's fill that in because we didn't have a need for that before, but we'll fill that in. Click submit. It goes directly back over to us and we take it from there. We get things going for you. Any reports that you may need for clients, again, can be custom branded with your logo, your office, your address, everything on there. We can prepare those in advance for you if you need them in advance. If you need them on the fly, we certainly can do that. And so any of the reports, typically if you're holding meetings, it depends on what your schedule is. I hold them once a quarter, twice a year, whatever it is. If we know the schedule and we know when you're meeting with that client, we can have those reports done ahead of hand and to you so that you don't have to worry about dealing with that and get it over to you almost like a meeting packet so that you're ready to go. You walk into the meeting, grab your meeting packet, boom, you're ready to go. Operational services, again, any rebalancing that needs to be done. If they say you have a client that has small cap equity and they're only supposed to have 20% that's in there, you don't have to worry if it's gone to 22 or 25 or it's come out of tolerance. All that is taken care of on your behalf. Eno Insurance, as I mentioned, you get $1 million per incident, $2 million comprehensive covered for you. And monthly billing, we do that on your behalf. You don't have to worry about that. And when you register with us as an investment advisor representative, one of the forms on there is direct deposit. So when we collect your fee, where do we send it? So we direct deposit it right into your bank account. Also on there, compliance oversight and record keeping. Anything that you need to have to hand it out to clients, we're making sure that it's obviously it meets compliance standards. That anything that is sent, that it's the record of that has been kept, so that you can prove that it was sent to them. But also keep in mind, if you're doing like a brochure or anything of that nature, that's custom to you, the last step from creative and marketing is over to our compliance department, which then makes them make sure that everything is compliant. So when you receive things, they are ready to email, mail, hand out, whatever you need. Training and education. So I won't harp on this too much, but as I said before, we'd rather overtrain you than undertrain you. There's a number of ways that you can do that. First off, our support is, we have events. So we're a big believer in in-person events, whether it is you've just come on board, typically once a quarter, we have new advisor training, almost like in a freshman class that comes in. I would say most of our advisors have already had a bunch of training before that and already probably brought on a few clients or transferred a few clients, so they know how to use the system. But within that first quarter, we'll get you out to Omaha, put you up in a hotel for a couple of days and do some training to really kind of get to points that are common areas, so that we feel that you're comfortable with what you're trying to do. You understand all the capabilities of all the different systems and how they're going to work for you, and all the different departments and how we can help you as well. We do the sample to the right there is we just held our annual advisor summit. So that was down in Nashville. Got everybody, we had a wonderful time down there. I mean, it was business as well as pleasure. People brought their spouses as well. People got to play golf. They got to take a bus tour of Nashville, which I went on, which is absolutely fascinating. So, there's fun things that we do there, but also beyond just, here's how you use the software and everything. We don't just try to bring you up to speed on the software, then kick you loose in the deep end and say, good luck swimming. If you've never done this before, we're going to help you with the processes and practices of doing, financial advice. And during a first meeting, you might want to, do this or that, or a second meeting, make sure that you review these things. Or here's good questions to ask. We have weekly advisor roundtables that are hosted online for all of our advisors. You can join them, not join them. It's up to you. But again, that's just one thing. We have informational webinars for all of our, whether it's through a strategic partner that's going to talk about the economic conditions in the market today, or a specific type of product. Say they're going to talk about buffered notes and what are buffered notes and how could you use buffered notes when you're talking to your clients. So different things of that nature. We have enough training videos to stun an ox. So there are so many different videos that you can sit down with. If you can't sleep at night, we'll get you some videos so that you can go, and it does everything from the platform, the technology, to process, one-on-one. Always happy, our advisors can call us, similar to if you work with IAMS on the other side. You're going to get a live human being who picks up the phone, and someone that is more than happy to help you with what you're trying to do, or carry out a request that you have. And obviously, if we don't know the answer, we're not going to make one up. We're going to get you the person that has it. But we're very proactive in what we're doing. And even if you're brand new to this and you need help on initial client appointments, I'm always to help. I know that Charles in the past has gone out, our COO has gone out and or done it online. to help people with their first couple of meetings. So we're always happy to help, always want to make sure that we're giving you the tools that you need to be successful. And then, obviously, we're not the only source of this. We have lots of strategic partners, whether it's some of the money managers, all of them have investment committees, market research departments, document libraries on everything. So it may not just be us. It may be one of our strategic partners that can help you get you, the service that you need. I think this is a very powerful slide right here, because this really kind of denotes what you do as a whole. And how all the pieces fall into place. So, here you are as the investment advisor, and there's Mr. and Mrs. Client. You're the relationship manager. You're the person that's in charge of the entire relationship. You know them, their dog's name, where they go on vacation, everything. When they need to talk about something, they call you. What you have is a partner with us. So you and your client have a partner with us. You've joined with us, and we're going to do all the things that I just talked about, right? We're going to do we're going to create the proposals, open the paperwork, do any account analysis that you need, market research, educational materials, any administrative or operational paperwork or maintenance. We're going to be doing the billing, all the compliance and record keeping. We're taking care of that. The other piece is that, there's a money manager, and we have 9 that we work with on the retail or individual side, and then others on the institutional side. But really their single role is to, take the research and oversight. So, we've given them, here is this client, here is their situation, their financial, situation, and their risk assessment. They're going to do the research and oversight for it. They're going to do the risk controls that need to be put in place, and they're going to make the strategic account decisions for them. And then you have a third-party custodian, and as being an RIA, you have to have that, right? Because that is that's the Bernie Madoff question, right? I think it was Warren Buffett who said it best once, where he said, if the best way to get taken advantage of is to have the persons that is holding your money making the decisions with your money. So we use a third-party custodian, which is TD Ameritrade Institutional, and their sole job is to keep the assets, process the trades, and make sure that the clients aren't getting ripped off either online, but protect it from fraud. And none of these components are self-included, has direct client access or communicates directly with your clients unless you ask us to. We're more than happy to do it ourselves if you need us to, or get a money manager or custodian to do it if that's what you want to have happen. But do not fear that you are not in control of your own clients. You own your clients. If you left IAMS Wealth Management, you take them with you. They're not our clients, they are your clients. Moving on from there, let's talk about some of the money managers real quick. And if you need more detail on this, give me a call, shoot me an email, but I certainly can do it. So on the retail side, what you're looking at is, someone has an IRA or an individual account or a family trust or whatever the case may be. You've got, managers like First Trust or Alpha DNA or Black Creek, not Black Rock, but Black Creek. They do corporate real estate, actually, which not a lot of retail investors have access to. And Black Creek, so they don't have access to this out in the general public. They can't go to anybody else and just get Black Creek. And corporate real estate actually is a great alternative to bonds, because it's negatively correlated to how stocks act. So and oftentimes it has better returns. But anyway, that's just one of the TKA, Tiber Kosmala, Fusion Capital Management, Colton, Brookmont Capital Management, Lear, Optimus, and again, you may be familiar with some of these, you may not be familiar with them. The reason they're all there for different reasons. Some deal with ETFs and specific strategies. some similar to Alpha DNA and Brookmont Capital, they deal with individual securities like individual stocks and bonds, where they'll make up a portfolio of that. You may run into a client that says, I don't want mutual funds or I don't want ETFs. Well, guess what? We have the ability to manage those with individual securities. So whether it's a neighbor's kid next door that has $10,000 or a family that has a $10 million trust, we have the capability and the expertise to deal with both those situations. And none of this is cookie cutter off the shelf stuff that they can get at all the retail broker dealers. Institutional money managers, again, you may recognize some of these names. They're not all up here, but Creative just put some of the bigger names. So SEI, Equus, Pacific Financial Group, Mass Mutual, American Funds. We can use all of those and more so that you can manage the business side as well. So you can manage a 401k, you can manage a 403b. You can deal with individual accounts within there, which I'll talk about here shortly. But so you can do both sides of it, whether it's a business itself or with the individuals. TD Ameritrade, like I said, they are a safety deposit box. That's all that they do for us. House the assets, process the trade, and protect it from fraud. Second biggest question I always get asked is, how much can I make doing this, right? So what can I charge? So fee example. So what we're going to look at here, there are, there's your fee, which is the advisor fee. And I would say that 99.9% of all of our advisors charge 1% for assets under management. You don't have to keep it tiered where it goes down the more assets that they bring, but oftentimes some of our advisors do. But the management fee that you see right below that is split between us, the money manager, and the custodian, TD Ameritrade. So what the client sees at the end of the day, all in, is 1.78. And I will say with confidence, because I've been doing this a long time, that most people that are with the retail brokerage industry are paying anywhere between 2, 2.5, and 3%. Just because I've seen that, and they're not in anything that's special. It's this cookie cutter, boom, you answered these 6 questions this way, bam, you go in this bucket, you get one of each of these. Good luck. If you end up with another 401k, give me a call, because we can roll that one over, and then they hope never to talk to them again. And they're charging them 2, 2.5, 3%. Whereas we are much more interactive, proactive with you, and you are with them because you have more time to do it. And you are, even, or I would say oftentimes below the average what the fee are, and sometimes well below what they're being charged. So 1%, that's pretty simple math, right? You keep 100% of that. So you find a client that has $1 million, you know that you will make, if that never went up a dime the entire year, you would make $10,000 from that. So with no split. So let's talk about some of the things, real quickly here, and I'll just kind of go through these. But, some of the things, if you don't have your 65 and you're thinking, well, I'm okay, I'm doing, annuity sales and got that, you run into a client that has 800,000 in an old 401k and they want to roll it over. So, you start drooling because you're like, all right, I'm going to take all this and I'm going to put it into a fixed index annuity. But you're not sure, will the 50% net worth suitability come into play? If it does, then boom, that deal's off. Or are they hesitant to put all their eggs in one basket, right? Like, I don't want to put it all in one thing. And it's like, okay, well, so there may be some, things that they're thinking about that, that cause them to pause on that. Or two is, you say, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take half and we're going to put it in this fixed index annuity. And with that half, what you're going to do from there is that's going to pay your expenses. So all the money that comes out of that is going to pay your expenses. The other half are going to put into a money management investment account, and we're going to try to kick the pants off of inflation with that. So let's just look at the first scenario where you don't have to worry about it. You put it all in the fixed index annuity, and more power to you. You got to do that. And, you got 3, and I just put 3 scenarios here, right? Commission payout. So 1, you're just taking 6.5 up front. Boom, you're making 52,000. Nice day. Thank you very much. See everybody next year. I sold 2 this year. I'm done. Second is 3.7 with a 0.5 trail from years 2 to 10. You make 66, or 1% initial, and you make 0.999 for years 2 through 10. Well, if you do that, you make 79. And so that's option one. So that's pretty good money. If you're not able to do that, you say, all right, so we're going to put half in a fixed index annuity, and we're going to put the other half into in an investment account. Well, it's just half the math that you saw last time, right? So you'd make 26 with the first option, 33 or 39, right? So if you're doing it with those payouts. The second is you're going to put it into an investment account. So you're going to put half in there, and we're just going to assume a growth rate of 7%. So that's below average, because if you look at what the S&P 500 index did over the past 10 years, it averaged about 14.32. So we're taking it well below average. We're also taking your fee out. We're also taking the fee the management fee that's coming out of that as well. And you put this in, and here's what it grows. It grows from there to that, and you're going to make $54,073 at the end of the 10 years total of what your fees that you paid. So you take that, and everybody get ready. Here comes the math. All right, here we go. So if you did it on the first one, you're making 80,000. All right, so you took the upfront, and then you're getting the 54 on that. So you're making 80,000 as opposed to just the 56 that you did before. You do the second one, you're making 87,000, and that's with taking, the 1% and then the trail on that, and then the last one where you're taking the whatever it was, 0.999, or you guys don't remind me. But anyway, you're getting that, you make 94. So here's the only quiz that you'll have from me today. Is 94,000 greater than 79,000? And the answer is obviously yes. And this builds a stronger client for you. It gives you a way to diversify your business. You're getting paid monthly. You can either take the big hit up front, or you can take trails along with that, and you're getting more of the client's household. So it's a very great way to go about doing things. And a lot of our advisors, are using this with their clients. And it's in the best interest of their clients, because, you can use the fixed part to help them with their expenses, and then you can use the other part to help them with the wants, right? So that's a pretty big thing. Here's another thing. If you already have your 65 or 7 and 66, and you're thinking about, well, I'm good, and maybe my fees are a little high where I'm at and everything like that. According to the ICI, so the Investment Company Institute, this is this year's numbers, and U.S. IRA accounts, there's $12.2 trillion. And there's 300,000 advisors that are all chasing after this, right? They're all bouncing it from one to another. They're just playing musical chairs, and who gets to sit down in that chair is the one that gets the IRA that day. So that works out to about 46,000 that's available for each advisor if you broke it down for them to look at. Well, guess what? In the U.S. 401k, 403b, 457, and TSP accounts, there's $9.4 trillion, and there's only 3,000 advisors that are pursuing those assets. Well, that means that you got $3.1 million per advisor. That's a greater number. That's more fish in the pond, right? With less people fishing. So, and how we utilize this is we have strategic partners that we work with, and they tap into the pre-rollover market where you can deal with self-directed brokerage accounts, and a lot of 401ks, 403bs, they have this option in there already. I forget the number, but it's a large percentage that already have it. And so there is a self-directed brokerage account window that's already there. Our advisors can go in. They can what that brokerage window allows them to do is now you can sit there and you can manage their 401k. They could be 42 and you can still manage their money and get paid on it. And by the way, while you're doing that, they're going to ask you about their own accounts and their own insurance and their own and their own. All that other stuff comes along with it as well. You can hold financial education events for them because that takes the onus off of the employer. Our strategic partners have a huge list of all of the companies and corporations that are in your area. I mean, it's nationwide that they have this, where they can go through and say, well, in your area, here's this company, that company, this company they may want to look into. It's a huge opportunity that not a lot of people are looking into. So these are the types of things, the opportunities that we're looking to uncover for our advisors to do. And this is a very strong one. So, I mean, obviously, wherever you are, if you don't have your 65, if you are already working with a broker dealer, or if you have it and you're with a different RIA, at every point, you got to take a step back and say, you know what, I'm tired of leaving money on the table because I'm not licensed with securities. I'm tired of getting paid every now and then, the roller coaster of that, or I'm fed up of splitting my fees with my broker, or oh my God, there's so much compliance work I have to do, or I'm spending 4 hours a day filling out paperwork. That's time I could be in meetings, or I'm, what, I feel like really I have to like shoot up a flare to get attention at where I'm at, because they're not paying attention to me. And if you're not one of the 10 guys, good luck getting any attention paid to you. So, when you're doing that, you got to take a look and say, you know what, it's time for me to take action. So, if you're exploring it or looking to do this, and you're serious about doing these things, becoming a financial advisor by getting your 65 or your 7 and 66, I would recommend getting the 65 as opposed to taking the other two. Or you're just looking to, move to an RA that can help you and have different options and not nickel and dime you to death and take care of the stuff that is, consuming your daily life, then let's set up a meeting so that we can discuss your specific situation. You need help, whether you realize it or not, managing your day-to-day and the long-term success of your business. You can't be everywhere, all places, do all things all at once. The cost of doing business is going up, whether it's in time or money, and the compliance requirements are creating even great operational challenges for all of us that are out there. And so, let alone, how can I make this grow? It's like, how can I survive all this or thrive on it? That's what we were designed to do, to help you. So, again, you can call me, and I'll show my number at the very end, here and my thing, but call me, send me an email, let's set up a meeting, we can talk about it. So, just a quick review, right? So you're getting the single portal. As long as you got internet coming in, you can log in, you can do everything that you need to do there at your home or office. You get compliant CRM software that does everything from act like a Rolodex to acting almost like an assistant that is then sending out emails and doing all that. Innovating and engaging client proposal software, electronic paperwork, all your paperwork's getting done. All of the reporting software reports are getting done for you. Communication, we talked about that. On-demand creative and marketing services at no extra cost. Website creation or remodeling. Social media campaign construction, obviously Eno Insurance supplied to you. It's not a reason to join us, but if we can save you $600 to $1,000, all the better, right? So, if you don't have your 65, get a hold of me. We get an advisor profile form. We'll get you ready to take your 65, study for it, enroll, and take the 65, and then set the time. We have a whole process putting in so they get you there and done. So we can help you with that. If you already got your 65 and 7 and 66, set a meeting with so we can talk about it, because basically we just need your advisor registration form. We register you with your, U4 with the SEC in the States. Get you your onboarding team, just like we do with people once they pass their Series 65 and do that, but get your onboarding team familiarized with you, get you Eno, and start setting training just like we do on the other side. So I know I've gone over. I hope it was worth everybody's time here just to have a couple extra minutes. There's certainly a lot that you could do on a Friday, so I appreciate you spending time with me. Again, my direct phone number rings right to my office. It's right there, 402-403-1554. Call me. If I don't pick up, it's because I'm on the other line talking to somebody. I will get your voicemail directly after and call you right back. My email is there, Duncan@IAMSWM.com. Send me an email. I will respond to you. We can get things going right from there. I will forewarn you, I don't take many vacations during the year, but I will be off next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on vacation. And might I say, well deserved. But I will certainly be responding to emails just less frequently, and phone calls, obviously, but less frequently. Thank you one and all for your time. I hope you have a terrific rest of your day, and I hope that we can speak soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.